Wealth is not a matter of age. It's a matter of decision. That's the truth. And if you want proof, just look at what happened when one man got serious about 7 simple money rules. These rules didn't come from luck. They came from lessons, earned the hard way, step by step, day by day. These are the exact rules that turned an ordinary life into a life of wealth, stability, and freedom. The best part? You don't need to be young to start. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to decide. Because these rules work at any age for anyone willing to follow them with discipline and consistency. In this video, I'll walk you through the 7 money rules that made me wealthy. Each one is clear, direct, and tested in real life. These aren't ideas you hear once and forget. They're habits you build and repeat. And every rule, if practiced, moves you closer to control, peace of mind, and real financial strength. So if you're ready to stop guessing, stop struggling, and start building something solid, this is your moment. Watch closely, take notes, and more than anything else, start today. Because the money rules that changed my life can change yours too. Number 1, get serious about money before life forces you to. That's not just advice. That's a warning. That's a wake-up call. And I'll tell you why. Most people walk through life as if they have time, as if they can keep avoiding the hard decisions about money, as if somehow, someday things will just work themselves out. But that's not how it goes. Life doesn't wait for you to catch up. Life doesn't care if you're not ready. It will hit you with the full weight of reality, whether you've prepared for it or not. So the smart move, the responsible move, the move that changed my life is to get serious about money before life backs you into a corner. When I was 25 years old, I was broke, flat broke, not just financially, I was mentally broke too. I had excuses, I had distractions, I had no real direction. I told myself things would change one day. But that one day kept moving further and further away. What changed everything for me was the decision to stop pretending and face my financial life honestly. Money affects everything. It affects where you live, how you live, who you can help, and even how you feel when you wake up in the morning. And that's why you've got to stop putting it off. You've got to stop acting like money doesn't matter. It matters a whole lot. Not because it buys happiness, but because it buys options. It gives you control. It gives you freedom. It gives you room to breathe when life gets tight. People think the pain of budgeting or saving is hard. You know what's harder? Being 50 years old with nothing saved. Waking up one morning and realizing you can't stop working because your bills don't stop. Watching your kids struggle and knowing you can't help. That's pain. And that's the kind of pain that comes when you wait too long to get serious about your finances. You don't need a miracle. You don't need to win the lottery. You need to wake up and look at your money honestly. That's where it starts. How much are you making? Where is it going? What do you spend without thinking? What do you owe? How much are you saving? Answer those questions without lying to yourself. That's how you take control. That's how you stop drifting. You stop letting life surprise you with emergency after emergency. You start building a wall of protection around your future. Getting serious about money means you stop trying to look rich and start trying to become stable. It means you stop buying things to impress people who don't even notice. It means you accept that comfort now usually leads to struggle later. You tighten things today so that tomorrow you can breathe easier. And if you think you're too young or too old to start, let me tell you something simple. There is no wrong time to get serious. There is only wasted time. Whether you're 18 or 48, today is better than tomorrow, and tomorrow is better than never. We live in a world that encourages people to ignore their financial problems. Buy now, pay later. Use credit. Get the upgrade. Treat yourself. And then what happens? The bills pile up. The stress builds. And suddenly, you're working just to stay afloat. You're not building. You're not growing. You're just surviving. That's not a life. That's not freedom. That's being trapped. So you have to decide what kind of life you want. One where you are always reacting to problems, or one where you are preparing ahead and controlling the direction. You don't have to be perfect with money. You just have to stop being careless. You don't need a financial degree. You need discipline. You don't need to make 6 figures. You need to manage the figures you already make. Discipline with $500, 0 cents is more powerful than recklessness with $5,000. because habits matter more than income. And if you don't learn how to manage a little, you'll never know how to manage a lot. So how do you start? You sit down with yourself, no distractions, and you write down everything. Your income, your rent, your food costs, your habits, every subscription, every cup of coffee. You look at your bank account not with fear, but with focus. Because this is your life. And nobody else is going to do this for you. You set goals, real ones, not just dreams. You say, by the end of this month, I'll save $100, 0 cents. And you do it. You say, I'll pay off this card in the next 90 days. And you follow through. You make rules for yourself. No impulse buying, no borrowing from next week's money. Every extra dollar goes to something meaningful. And over time, something happens. You feel stronger. You feel smarter. You stop feeling like life is dragging you around. You start leading your own life. Because you're no longer scared of money. You're in control of it. And if you're thinking, it's too late for me, I'll tell you, you're wrong. As long as you're breathing, you can change. I've seen people turn it around in their 30s, 40s, 60s. The moment you decide to stop ignoring money is the moment you start moving forward. Don't wait for a crisis. Don't wait until your back's against the wall. Don't wait until the car breaks down or the bills are stacked high or the job disappears. Get ahead of it. Build a plan now so that you're ready when life throws something your way. Because life will test you. That's a guarantee. The only question is, will you be ready or will you be caught unprepared? You don't have to be rich today. You just have to be honest, focused, and consistent. You just have to decide that from this day forward, you will no longer live with your head in the sand. Get serious about money before life forces you to. That decision could change everything. Number 2, start building wealth while others waste their time. Some people wait for the right time to get serious about money. Others keep saying they'll start later when they feel ready, when they have more. But life doesn't give you extra time just because you delayed. Every day you wait, someone else is out there learning, building, growing. Not because they're lucky, because they made a decision. They decided not to waste their hours on things that don't move their life forward. They're not better than you. They're just doing what works. They're using time like it matters. If you don't do the same, you'll keep falling behind quietly. You can start building wealth right now. Not next month. Not when the stress goes away. Right now. Because the truth is, time is the most valuable thing you have. If you use it well, even small efforts will compound. But if you waste it chasing comfort, scrolling through distractions, or putting things off, you'll wake up in the same spot year after year. The gap between you and someone who succeeds isn't talent. It's how they use their hours. They put in the work others skip. They act when most people are waiting for motivation. Building wealth doesn't always mean big moves. It often starts with small decisions. Saving a little from each paycheck. Reading instead of watching TV. Taking a course instead of wasting the weekend. Writing goals on paper. Planning the next 30 days. These actions don't feel exciting at first, but over time they create change. They build control. They form confidence. Most people want change without effort, but nothing changes unless you change. If you act with purpose, your future shifts. If you don't, it stays exactly where it is. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed. Every person who's wealthy today once started from zero. They didn't have it all figured out, but they were hungry. They refused to let comfort steal their future. They worked while others rested. They read while others complained. They made plans while others joked. That's what makes the difference. Wealth doesn't show up to people who hope. It shows up to people who prepare. Even if it's slow at first, the point is to begin, not once, but every day, repeating the actions that make you grow. Most people won't understand what you're doing. They'll ask why you're working so much, why you're not spending like them, why you're always learning something new. But that's because they don't see the bigger picture. You do. You're thinking long term. You're not chasing weekends. You're chasing freedom. The freedom to say no. the freedom to walk away from pressure, the freedom to control your time. That kind of freedom comes from discipline. And discipline always looks strange to those who've never used it. So don't explain yourself. Just stay consistent. Results speak louder than any explanation ever will. It's easy to say time is valuable, but most people don't live like they believe it. They waste hours every day on habits that give them nothing in return. Time spent on gossip, on scrolling, on distraction. And then they wonder why things don't change. If you want different results, you have to live differently. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to be honest. Where's your time going? What is it building? If it's not moving your life forward, it's slowing you down. Start cutting what holds you back and replacing it with habits that move you forward. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need applause. You don't need to tell anyone what you're doing. You just need to start. Quietly, consistently, with focus. While others argue and delay, you're setting your foundation. While others mock and complain, you're preparing your future. That's how wealth is built when no one is watching. It's not the loud moves that create results. It's the quiet ones repeated every single day. So turn off the noise, stop comparing, stop doubting, just get to work and stay with it even when progress feels slow, especially when it feels slow. There will be days when it doesn't feel worth it. Days when you'll want to relax and forget your goals. That's normal. But those are the days you must remember your future depends on what you do now. Everyone has excuses. But excuses don't build anything. Discipline does. The more you stay committed during those hard days, the more you separate yourself from everyone else. Most people quit when it gets boring, but success belongs to those who stay focused through the boredom, through the discomfort, through the silence. That's how you build something real. You don't have to work all day. You just have to work smart. Use your early mornings. Use your evenings. Turn 30 wasted minutes into 30 minutes of progress. Replace watching with learning. Replace doubting with doing. Track your habits. Hold yourself accountable. Your time isn't just passing. It's being spent. And if it's being spent on things that lead nowhere, you're trading your life for emptiness. That's the real cost of wasted time. So be sharp. Be intentional. Be aware. Every minute matters when you're building something that lasts. Your future is counting on your daily choices. Start now, not because you feel ready, but because you know what's at stake. The longer you wait, the more you lose. You don't need everything in place. You just need to stop wasting time pretending that delay doesn't cost you. While others are distracted, you're working. While others are lost, you're focused. That's how change happens. That's how wealth begins. Quietly, patiently, deliberately. Don't wait for motivation. Move without it. Because when you build while others waste time, you won't just get ahead. You'll stay ahead. And that changes your whole life. Number 3, put a limit on how much comfort you buy. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it often comes with a hidden cost. Too much comfort, too early, can quietly rob you of discipline, hunger, and long-term stability. The problem is not comfort itself, it's how often you buy it. If you're constantly choosing ease, luxury, or entertainment without thinking, you're training your mind to avoid growth. Comfort tells you to relax when you should be improving. It tells you to spend when you should be saving. And before you realize it, the habit of buying comfort becomes normal. That habit will slowly eat away at your future. Most people don't track how often they buy comfort. It becomes automatic. A meal to feel better, a gadget to distract from stress, a trip to avoid reality. These are emotional choices, not logical ones. And if you keep using comfort as a reward without earning it, you stop making progress. The money you could have saved is gone. The time you could have used is wasted. And the confidence you could have built is weaker. People think comfort is harmless, but the more you feed it, the more it controls you. That's when your goals start slipping away without a sound. You don't need to remove comfort from your life, but you must limit it. Give yourself permission to enjoy things after you've earned them. Comfort becomes meaningful when it follows effort, not the other way around. When you've worked hard, saved well, and made wise choices, then comfort becomes a reward, not a trap. But when comfort is constant and effort is rare, you end up stuck. Too tired to move forward, too soft to handle pressure, too distracted to stay focused. And that's when money starts controlling you instead of the other way around. Comfort spending is emotional spending. It's triggered by boredom, stress, comparison, or insecurity. And if you don't catch yourself, you'll keep reaching for small pleasures while your bigger problems grow. The money you spend on comfort is money you could invest in your future. Every little expense adds up. A daily habit becomes a monthly hole, and that hole becomes a lifestyle you can't maintain. It's not about becoming cheap. It's about becoming aware. When you limit how much comfort you buy, you gain power over your impulses. And power over your choices gives you freedom. There's a price for everything. You either pay with money or you pay with time. If you keep choosing the easier option today, you'll be forced to work harder tomorrow. That's how it works. Most people don't see it because comfort hides the cost. It makes you feel safe while keeping you stuck. But success isn't built by staying comfortable. It's built by choosing effort, even when you don't feel like it. It's built by saying no to things that don't move you forward. You don't need more comfort. You need more strength. And strength is built through limits. Look around at the people who stay broke. Many of them aren't lazy. They're undisciplined with comfort. They buy what looks good. They spend to feel better. They avoid discomfort at any cost. And as a result, they stay in cycles they can't break. Comfort becomes their goal, not growth. But real success never comes from chasing ease. It comes from facing the things that are uncomfortable. Saving when you want to spend, learning when you want to rest, growing when you feel stuck. The more you can delay comfort, the more freedom you earn in the future. Your brain learns through patterns. If you keep giving yourself rewards without effort, your mind adapts to expect pleasure without work. And when that happens, you lose the drive to push through discomfort. But when you build the habit of earning your comfort, you change your identity. You see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who waits, someone who can say no when it matters. That self-control becomes your greatest strength. Because in a world full of distraction and instant pleasure, the one who can delay comfort is the one who stays ahead. Start measuring your comfort purchases. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Or am I avoiding something? That one question will stop hundreds of useless expenses. And over time, you'll see how much money you've been throwing at things that didn't serve you. When you cut back on unnecessary comfort, you create room to invest into yourself, your learning, your health, and your future. You gain clarity. You gain control. And control over your spending is control over your direction. It's not about giving up happiness. It's about giving up habits that quietly keep you from it. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to show your lifestyle. You don't need to buy things to feel valuable. The smartest people understand that long-term peace is worth more than short-term pleasure. So they hold back. They wait. They plan. They live below their means. Not because they're afraid, but because they're focused. They know that today's comfort can become tomorrow's burden if you don't think ahead. So they limit what they don't need and direct their energy where it counts. That's what separates those who build wealth from those who only dream about it. You have a choice every day. Buy comfort and feel good for a moment, or hold back and build something that lasts. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Most people don't think before they spend. They feel, and feelings change fast. But your future depends on consistency, not emotion. So train yourself to pause. Ask why. Think ahead. Put a limit on how much comfort you allow into your life. That decision, repeated over time, creates freedom, clarity, and strength. And that strength builds the foundation for real wealth, starting exactly where you are right now. Number 4, create a simple plan and follow it every week. Most people have ideas in their head, but no structure in their life. They think about changing their financial situation, but they never sit down to plan it out. That's where everything starts to fall apart. A simple plan, written clearly, followed weekly, changes more than motivation ever could. Because motivation fades, but a plan you look at daily keeps you focused. It tells you what to do, when to do it, and why it matters. Without a plan, you drift. With a plan, you direct your life. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent with what matters. The plan doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be clear. You don't need a 10-year strategy. You need 7 days you can follow again and again. Start with the basics. how much you earn, how much you need to survive, how much you save and how much you're wasting. Write it down. See it in front of you. Break it into simple actions. Pay this amount, save this much, cut this one habit, learn this new skill, review it every Sunday, adjust if needed, but don't abandon it. Most people fail not because of big problems, but because of no structure. When your mind sees a written plan, it calms down. It stops guessing. It knows what's coming, and that gives you peace. Without a plan, every day feels like a reaction. You spend without thinking. You rush decisions. You miss small chances to grow. But with a plan, you're in charge. You walk into the week with direction. And the more you do this, the more control you feel. That control turns into confidence, and confidence pushes you to keep going, even when things get difficult. People don't need more motivation. They need more clarity. A plan gives you that. Planning helps you stop lying to yourself. It shows you where the real problem is. Maybe you're overspending. Maybe you're under-earning. Maybe your goals are unclear, but you won't know unless you map it out. A weekly plan exposes what's working and what's not. It removes the guesswork. You stop making decisions based on how you feel. You start making decisions based on what's real. That shift is powerful. It's not easy at first, but it's worth it. Because once you start building your life on purpose, you stop depending on chance to save you. You don't need to share your plan with anyone. You don't need to explain it. You just need to follow it. Quietly, steadily, week by week. While others are distracted, you're focused. While others are repeating mistakes, you're learning. While others are spending blindly, you're moving with intention. A plan becomes your anchor when life gets chaotic. You don't have to guess what to do next. You already wrote it down. That decision saves energy, it saves time, and it saves money. Every week you follow the plan. You're building strength most people never take the time to build. Some people avoid planning because it forces them to face the truth. They don't want to see how much time they've wasted. They don't want to know how much money they're losing. But that truth is what sets you free. Once you see it clearly, you can change it. You're not stuck. You're just unstructured. A plan is the first step to breaking that cycle. It shows you what needs to change and gives you a path to change it. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to start fixing one thing at a time every week. There's a reason people who plan their days end up with better months, because they're building momentum. It's not about speed. It's about direction. When you know what you're doing this week, you don't waste hours deciding. You already have the steps. And the best part, plans can evolve. You're not locked in. You can adjust as you grow. But having no plan at all leaves you open to every distraction and every delay. You don't need a perfect life. You need a plan that keeps you moving forward, even on the hard days, especially on the hard days. Your time is limited. And if you don't manage it, someone else will. That's why a weekly plan matters. It protects your time. It protects your goals. It protects your future. You write it down, you follow it, and you track how you did. Not to punish yourself, but to improve. Each week becomes a chance to get better. You don't need a big win every time. You just need progress. One small win leads to another. And before you know it, your life looks different. Not because you hoped for it, but because you worked for it. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they never built a system that kept them moving. That's what a weekly plan is. It's your system. It keeps your mind from wandering. It keeps your energy from being wasted. It turns ideas into action. The world is full of talkers, but talk doesn't build wealth. Action does. And action becomes easier when you know exactly what to do. Plan turns uncertainty into structure. It turns stress into focus. And focus is how you create real results. One day, 1 week, 1 month at a time. The gap between where you are and where you want to be can feel overwhelming. But when you break it down into a weekly plan, it becomes manageable. You stop thinking in years and start thinking in actions. What can I do this week to get closer? That's the question that moves you. It simplifies everything. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to follow through on what you've already written. That's how real change happens. Quietly, repeatedly, with purpose. Create a simple plan and follow it every week. That's how you build a future that lasts. Number 5, stop calling it too late and start acting now. People waste years believing the lie that it's too late. They look at their age, their past mistakes, their missed chances, and they decide their time has passed. But that mindset keeps them stuck. It convinces them to stop trying. And that's the real failure, not starting. No matter how old you are or how much you've lost, you're not finished unless you choose to be. Life doesn't end at a number. The clock doesn't decide your future. Your next move does. You can either keep holding on to regret, or you can do something right now that moves you forward. You may not be where you hope to be. That's real. Maybe you didn't start when you should have. Maybe you didn't know what you know now. But that doesn't mean you can't begin again. Regret has no power unless